Give me just a second here so I can tell if this thing is started online. And I'm not sure. I don't see it on here yet. Try this thing one more time, kind of refresh it. Now I see it online, so I'm doing good. Anyway, here we go. Hadn't been on here in a while. Don't ask me why. I think I just got lazy. But there's plenty to talk about. I can't talk about everything that I've seen the last few weeks. I kind of got bogged down with the news, if you know what I mean. I don't want to say I got bored with it because I love to watch the news at night. I love to keep up with stuff, but I also like to do other things, such as my weightlifting hobby. I kind of do that up to a couple hours every day at least. Plus, I've had other things. I got other things going on I got to do. It's my own private schooling, you might say, professional development type stuff that I have to do to keep my teaching license. Even though right now that's not doing me any good, but maybe in the future. But what I wanted to start off tonight with is a little bit on its ideologies, the left versus the right. And what better place to start with than the new DNC chairman, president, whatever you want to call him, the leader anyway. They're a new leader. They voted him in. And I wanted you to get an idea about this guy. His last name's Perez. I guess they needed somebody to step in since Hillary just probably couldn't do the job, and who knows, she may even run for president again. She'll be too old, be old and senile and all that kind of bad stuff, but I don't know. The liberals are kind of got a mental disorder anyway, so she fits right in, and she'll lead them good. It'll be like the blind leading the blind, so if you want the blind to lead the blind, keep on following her. Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to give you an idea of what this Perez dude, the leader of the DNC, is all about. Just take a listen to some of this stuff. I kind of put it on here. Let me find it here. I got it on YouTube. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong deal. Here it is. Just listen to this.
Unfortunately, we have a president who day in and day out, it's chaos. It's carnage. He's a damn liar. That's what I say, pal. You're goddamn right he's a liar.
See there, he's an idiot.
He even did an executive order yesterday. Buy American.
I say some foul things.
Make sure we do that. Well, you know what, folks?
Online
why don't you apply that to your own damn family business?
He
wants to label and brand everything he does.
I don't think it's right.
You know, you got the Trump towers, you got Trump steaks, you got Trump ties or suits or, you know, things like that. But he won't call it. He says, no, it's Ryan care. It's Trump care. Well, I have a name for it. It's I don't care. Because the Republican leadership doesn't give a shit about people who are suffering. Carlos Curbelo. Carlos Curbelo, where are you? Because Carlos, this is what he did. He voted Trump's half-baked health care plan out of the committee. And what did he say?
Just listen to this idiot.
No one will lose coverage. That's bullshit, my friends.
No respect or
Well,
dignity.
guess what happened? That turned out to be, let me be more polite because I just saw a young child in the audience. That turned out to be a lie. That turned out to be faulty stuff. And the budget is another example of broken promises. The budget is bankrupt. They call it a skinny budget. I call it a shitty budget.
Here's another one. Here's another place where he kind of stepped over the line a little bit, if you ask me, and a lot of other people with common sense. There's a kid in the audience.
Of the Democratic National Committee, Tom Perez, has been swearing a lot lately.
They call their budget a skinny budget. I call their budget a budget.
Gone is Michelle Obama's advice for handling the opposition.
When they go low, we go high.
The best Democratic line of the last campaign, and words we should all live by. This is about more than crass language. In times of tension, do you keep your standards or do you drop them? The Washington Post asked Perez about his potty mouth, and he pointed out correctly that Republicans have tolerated far worse from Donald Trump. So 2 wrongs make a right, and the race is on to the bottom, or whatever is below the bottom. At this point, you may be swearing
Trump
in rebuttal. Party chairman is supposed to be extreme. This conveys urgency. It excites the crowd. Plus, Donald Trump never paid a price. Essentially, this is good politics. Is it really? If you oppose a president for his coarseness, why would you imitate it? Donald Trump's primary opponents tried and failed at this. Also, for a party with a message problem, there's something exhausting about the overuse of the manure spreader. It suggests a reliance on shock rather than strength of an argument. The outburst is supposed to be spontaneous, but comes across as thoroughly calculated. A pointed word now and again can be effective, as Bernie Sanders proved when he said,
that the American people are sick.
But let's move on. Let's get away from this. I really thought that was more on him, but I'm going to go back and see if there's another one on him. That just shows what kind of...
We have a president who day in and day out... It's
Okay, let's get back over here to me talking. This thing don't cut me off again. Last time I come on here, I had kind of technical difficulties, or maybe not me, or maybe I was saying something that got me knocked off or cut off. I don't remember using any foul language like this Perez guy. Maybe I used the word idiot and called somebody loco or something like that, and Facebook people or whoever runs the things couldn't take it. But I've heard far less but people ranting on Facebook than me. But anyway, I just wanted to catch up a little bit on the headlines. About a week, 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, we had the incident in Manchester where some more terrorists mowed into a concert, and I forget the lady's name. I knew it and now I've forgotten it, but she was some kind of little pop star off from the Nickelodeon channel, and she made it big, and she's the latest sensation for the young people, I guess you might say. Anyway, she went in there singing, and they had a concert, and the terrorists targeted young people. They didn't exactly put the bombs inside. They put it more closer outside, or not exactly outside, but they targeted, I guess, people in the hallways and stuff. And that may not be the right details, but they didn't put it inside like they normally do. They wanted to target where a lot of people or young people would be standing or whatever. Anyway, my point is that they're now targeting young people. That's their new strategy. That's the ISIS's new strategy. And all I got to say is 19 people were killed. I believe that's the last count I remember. 59 were injured, and they this week I've seen where they caught one guy, and then here I read that they caught another guy, or saw it on the news. And I just think, well, that's their new strategy. And I just want to know, do you people want ISIS to continue killing young people? Will you not wake up now? Will you not stand up now? Will you not wake up, put your eyes open and see what's going on, and want our government to do something about it? I mean, can you not see what's happening? Can you not see that stricter enforcement of immigration is necessary, and the banning of certain countries that harbor terrorists is not needed? Do you not see that? Well, if you want your kids killed, then you'll let it go on like it is. But if you want to save your kids, then you'll want the government to ban these people from coming over here. But it may be too late because we've already got a certain number of them over here already. There's a bunch of them. They've kind of got cells. They've even got training camps. I think what I read, they had 22 training camps across this country, and there's one in Missouri close to where we're at here in Arkansas, and there's one in Tulsa, around Tulsa. So they're here. It's just a matter of when and where and what time they strike. That's all I'm saying. So if you want that, then you'll continue things as they are. But there's a lot of liberals out there that have a mental disorder that can't see the truth, and they can't face reality. So they'll probably want to keep things as it is, and they're still hung up over their election. They can't believe they lost. They think it's some kind of conspiracy. It's no conspiracy. All that's wrong is people are fed up and they're mad, and they did something about it. They went to the polls and voted. They put in power who they wanted in power, and they wised up. They know what's going on. And that's happening in Europe too. They've had elections over there. The elections over there, elections and Brexit or Brexit or whatever you want to call it. Brexit, I think that's what it is. They voted to get out of the European Union for good reasons. Along a similar vein or line that I'm talking about right here, they want their own. Basically, what I'm trying to say is they want their border, language, and culture. They want their own identity. They don't want to be a part of something else that's headed in a different direction than they are. And a perfect example is Merkel, whatever her name is, in Germany. In 10 years' time, Muslims will make up over 25% of Germany, and eventually they'll start being able to vote, and they'll start weeding out the old established order and putting their own order in, and it'll take time, but over time, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, they'll be more of an influence, and they will come into power, and they will put their own form of government in, and everything will be ran their way, the Islamic way. And I'm telling you why this is happening. It's happening because these people, the immigrants that Germany's allowing in there, will not assimilate into their society. They have their own little towns. They're separate from society because the government that's there now thinks that they don't feel at home. So if they keep them to themselves in their own group, they'll feel more at home. They'll feel more, how do you say it? They'll feel at home. They'll feel more, geared to it. They won't feel like they're in a strange land. They'll be with their own people, and they'll be relaxed, comfortable. Yeah, there's the word comfortable. They'll feel comfortable in their own little society. But the problem is they'll keep their own customs and stuff and ways, and there's nothing wrong with that, so long as you understand that you're living in somebody else's country and you have to submit to the authority and the laws and the customs and religions of that country. You have to be able to tolerate, get along with it, and join in with it and understand it. But if you try to force your own on them, then it's not right. And by keeping those people off to themselves in one little country like that, then they get more stubborn in their attitude and their ways, and they're gradually going to populate the area. That's all it is. Settlement's all it is. those Middle Asian countries are just basically settling Germany. They're going to take it over eventually, and that's the way it is. If you don't think it's going to happen, any idiot with common sense, any guy with a half brain can see what's happening if you just sit back and think about it, open your eyes. But the old crack pipe's going strong, and you're addicted to it, and it like I said, it's a mental disorder. Liberalism is like a crack pipe. Once you start smoking it, you start gradually fading out of reality, and you can't come back into it. And you're shot. Your brain's gone. Once you get into that, your brain's gone. Fortunately, there are some people that can come out of it, but it might be too late for the rest of us. And that's the problem that the rest of us have to face. We can't depend on liberals to get ahead. They're smoking the liberal, fanatical, communist, pinko, BS crack pipe, and it's affected their thinking and the way they see life. And it's a shame and it's horrible, but that's what it's happening. But a lot of people in Europe, Britain, the United Kingdom, as a matter of fact, has wised up, and they know what's going on. And even within their own government in Britain, they're having a problem. I think there's 10 to 12 different Muslim cities that have Muslim mayors or whatever. And they're having their own problems right now, but I'll read more up on that. And most of that started with the Fabian Society way back in 1830s. It's more or less a group that's liberal, and it's the gradual takeover of a country, or communist or socialist agenda at hand, and that's what's on the move. And let's move on a little bit. I talked about that. I talked about assimilation, and that's the problem we have right here in our own country. Here's my personal belief, what's going to happen in our country if we don't stop it. Of course, we've come a long way, and we're stopping it now with the election of Trump, and he's done some good. He's actually shut down the border 70% or less. There's 70% or less people coming over the border now simply because Trump's in, because of his influence and the impact, and these people coming over the border, illegals, are scared. They know what's happening. And so their things are not as easy as it was, is it, people, or illegals? Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, my belief of what could happen, and it's very possible unless we do something about it. And what I'm thinking is the southwestern part of the United States could eventually fall to the hands of these illegals or migrants, or maybe not migrants, as illegal immigrants. Let's put it that way, migrating over there. And what it is, it's a gradual settlement, and they don't use force. They don't do it like that. They gradually settle a certain area till they take control. Just like I explained, what's happening in Germany will happen there over 30, 40 years span, when enough people move in there and start having kids and populating it and getting the numbers up and voting, and then they gain power. They gradually just take that area over. No matter, they'll have the numbers, and they'll be able to vote whatever on any issue or whatever person they want in, and gradually get things changed to their liking and to their way. And they're set on becoming a third. We're set on, and they'll make this country a third world nation if we don't watch it, because they're used to their government's down, excuse the expression, but they're a lot of the governments, and I'm not just talking about Mexico, I'm talking about people below Mexico, Salvador, all those countries down there, and South America, and all some of those countries. There's a certain sphere of influence. Socialism is what I'm talking about, a way of thinking, and they rely on the government for everything, and they expect, and they more or less come here because they've heard that we help people. Yeah, we help people. We give them free food stamps. And I heard somebody say that we don't do that, but the truth is they do. There are programs that give them money and food stamps. Down in Texas, they even had a thing to where they were going to give a lot of the poor illegals, they were going to give them the internet and stuff like that. They get what they call a Lone Star card, and they give them free food and money. And I've heard people say, they don't do that, but and I've heard it from other very reliable sources that they do that. And so don't believe everything you hear from people just saying. You need to do some research, read up on it, and see what's going on. And what else was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah, this is Memorial Day. I thought I would give some comments about Memorial Day. Today was a special day for especially for people who respect and appreciate what's happened in the past, not just in the recent wars, but the wars of the past, World War II, World War I, all the wars in the 1800s, the Civil War, all the American Revolution, all the people who fought and died and shed blood for this country. We should have great respect and admiration for these people. The problem is nowadays a lot of people won't have the opportunity or won't take the opportunity to serve their country. And I'm kind of lucky because I never had to worry about being drafted, but people in the past, especially Vietnam, probably an unjust war. I don't. And not also the Korean War. It's just not. Those wars were questionable, and the Korean War never ended. As a matter of fact, we might be just hearing from them again. It's getting to the point to where North Korea is acting like they want to fight for some reason, and I can figure out probably why. They want attention. They want to be in a grandstand, and they want attention, and they're starving their people to death just so they can fly a few missiles and rockets around and look tough, and they're starving their people to death doing that. And they recently fired a rocket that went off and it fell in Japan's international waters where they have certain rights to their trades and all, trading ships and all that kind of good stuff. And so they're really pushing the envelope. They're wanting something. So, and Trump's way about it is going to be probably diplomatic. And Mathis said, and we all know who Mathis is, our Secretary of Defense or whatever, our main big dog leader anyway, Mad Dog Mathis, said that a war with North Korea would be a catastrophe. I just heard that tonight. And excuse me, there's something in my throat. Kind of dry, I guess. But anyway, Mathis said it would be a catastrophe. And China also, we had to deal with China here last week where we were doing some kind of drills in their waters, close to one of their man-made islands or something, and our government quickly said that we had no intentions of trying or causing any problems, that it was just drills they were running. But anyway, China didn't much like it. So, with all this being said, what else can I talk about before I get off here? Hopefully this thing didn't knock me off, because it did last time. But anyway, there's a lot going on, and I can't keep up with everything because I have other things I like to do in life too, and need to do too. So, a lot of different things I'm going to try to read this summer, including this new book I got. I got another one I got to finish, but I'm going to probably get this one read too. It's called From Sunday to Sabbath, a historical investigation of the rise of the let me see, let me get the exact name of this. Just a second. From Sabbath to Sunday, a historical investigation of the rise of Sunday observance in early Christianity. So a lot of good historical church-related, biblical kind of research and scholarly. It's kind of a dissertation. It's by this guy named Samuel Bacchiocchi, Bacchiocchi, and he was the first non-Catholic to graduate from the Pontifical Gregorian University in Rome, and even got a gold medal from Pope Paul the Sixth. He earned a distinction of summa cum laude. Not sure what summa, but a cum laude means praise, because I know a girl that graduated with praise on her master's. I think that was what it was. No, it wasn't a master's. Excuse me. It was her undergraduate. But anyway, that's a pretty good book, and I'll probably get that read. And I've got some other things I want to read, including, if I ever do, I'm going to get this book from Michael Savage, another book by him that wouldn't mind getting started on too, called Trump's War, and he's even writing another edition of that. So I'm going to get off here and end this right here, but this is Fraley's weekly vlogs, random stuff, 5/29/2017, and it's 11:20 here, so I'm going to sign off and bid you farewell till next time.